When the world looks at India today, the headlines often tell a story of division, communal violence, religious polarization, political rhetoric that stokes ancient rivalries. It is tempting, especially from afar, to conclude that India's famed spiritual pluralism is a relic of the past, a casualty of modern nationalism and global upheaval. And yet, beneath the noise and the flashpoints, another story persists, quieter, but no less real. Across the subcontinent, in temples and mosques, gurdwaras and churches, dusty village shrines and sprawling urban centres, India's tradition of spiritual pluralism not only endures, it thrives. It's a living reminder that while politics may divide, culture, faith, and everyday life in India still weave together an astonishingly syncretic tapestry, one that has survived countless empires, invasions, and ideologies, and it continues to offer the world a powerful, if imperfect, vision of coexistence. Spiritual pluralism in India is not a modern invention, nor is it simply tolerance in the Western sense of the word. It is something deeper, a centuries-old entanglement of beliefs, rituals, and communities that recognize both difference and commonality. It is the Sufi saints of the medieval period who built shrines that welcomed Hindus and Muslims alike. It is the Bhakti poets, like Kabir and Mirabai, who rejected sectarian divides in favor of a direct, heartfelt connection to the divine. It is the Sikh tradition, born at the crossroads of Hindu and Islamic influences, where the doors of every gurdwara still open to all, and where the practice of langar, free communal meals, feeds millions daily, irrespective of caste, creed, or class. This spirit animates countless sacred sites today. At the Dargah of Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti in Ajmer, Hindu pilgrims tie threads of hope alongside Muslim supplicants. In the streets of Varanasi, one hears the call of temple bells and the azan of the mosque coexisting in the same sky. In Kerala, churches incorporate Hindu imagery, and in Nagaland, animist traditions blend seamlessly with Christian liturgies. Pluralism in India is messy, overlapping, and fiercely local, but it is also astonishingly resilient. There is no denying that the last decade has been difficult for India's secular ideal. Hindu nationalism has surged. Religious minorities, particularly Muslims and Christians, have faced marginalization and violence. Court rulings, textbook revisions, and public discourse increasingly reflect a more homogenized vision of Indian identity. Yet it would be a mistake to believe that official narratives can easily erase centuries of lived interconnection. Cultural habits, spiritual practices, and familial bonds run far deeper than political cycles. Consider the 2024 general elections. Despite intense polarization, millions of Indians voted across religious lines, driven by local issues, personal ties, and pragmatic concerns rather than sectarian dogma. In countless villages and neighborhoods, daily life still necessitates and nourishes coexistence. Shopkeepers, artisans, farmers, and laborers continue to work, worship, and celebrate together, just as their ancestors did. This is not to downplay the seriousness of rising intolerance, but it is to recognize that the story of India is not one of linear decline into division, but of a complex, ongoing negotiation between competing visions, and that the older, deeper current of pluralism is far from spent. What makes India's spiritual pluralism so enduring is that it is not purely doctrinal, it is communal. Faith in India is deeply tied to festivals, food, music, architecture, the ordinary rituals of life. During Eid, it is not uncommon to see Hindu neighbours invited to share biryani and sweets. During Diwali, Muslim artisans craft idols of Lakshmi and Ganesh. In Tamil Nadu, Christian churches celebrate Pongal, the harvest festival traditionally associated with Hinduism. In Mumbai and Delhi, Sikh langars feed the homeless, refugees, and anyone who walks through their doors. These are not merely acts of charity or goodwill. They are expressions of a shared spiritual ecosystem. They reflect an understanding that while theology may differ, human needs for community, nourishment, joy, and solace are universal. Such habits of the heart are hard to legislate away. They are lived into being generation after generation. In an age when religious nationalism and culture wars are on the rise globally, India's messy but enduring spiritual pluralism offers important lessons. First, that pluralism is not the absence of difference, but the embrace of it. In India, different faiths do not melt into a single uniformity. They maintain their distinctiveness while still interacting, influencing, and sometimes even blending with each other. Second, that pluralism requires daily work. It must be nourished in schools, neighborhoods, workplaces, and homes. It cannot survive solely on constitutional guarantees or top-down policies. It must be woven into the texture of ordinary life. Finally, that the survival of pluralism depends not just on tolerance, but on curiosity, hospitality, and humility, the willingness to see the sacred in others, and to accept that no tradition holds a monopoly on truth. India's spiritual pluralism is not invincible. It can be wounded by hate, manipulated by politics, eroded by fear. But it has survived so much already. Colonialism, partition, waves of fundamentalism. Because it is not merely an ideal, it is a way of life. Today, as the forces of division mount, India's greatest strength remains this fragile, precious legacy. A society where, even amid conflict, millions still know in their bones how to live together, how to honor difference, how to find the divine in the face of a neighbor. It is an inheritance worth fighting for, not just for India, but for the world.